Hi, this is Kimberly Reuter, business advisor and supply chain expert. And thank you for joining me on my podcast, The Morning Mood. I am currently in Salzburg, Austria. If you watch the video, you'll notice that I'm in a slightly different place than I have been previously. I am at a lovely hotel in Salzburg, Austria. I'm working a conference here and I will be keynote speaking today, also be the MC for the conference and hosting panels. So, a couple of really busy days here for me, but I love it. I love this conference. I love the people. They're wonderful hosts. And I get to be in Salzburg, Austria, which is pretty freaking amazing. I'm here for a week. I have a free day on Saturday to do what I want. And I'm pretty stoked about it. I'm pretty stoked that I get to travel all over the world. I get paid to travel all over the world. I used to get paid to travel all over the world for work. Now I get paid to travel all over the world to keynote, which is also work, but not like the kind of work I used to do. So it doesn't feel like work because it's creative and I love it. I actually am an introvert. I will tell you this, and we're going to talk about vulnerability today, by the way. So this is a life. This podcast comes under the classification of life because we're going to talk about vulnerability. But I'm actually not a people person, which is weird. And I actually spoke to a woman recently that I hope to have as also a guest on our podcast, and we spoke about the fact that she's actually has a podcast and a radio show. She's also not a people person. So being around a lot of people, entertaining people, doing this keynote stuff, while I love doing it, is also somewhat exhausting for me. So I have a tendency to hide in my hotel room and don't do a lot of social activity if I can avoid it. I also need to watch how much alcohol I take in. So also another reason that I hide in my hotel room. But what I wanted to talk to you guys today was about vulnerability and messiness. So when I started this podcast, I knew that it needed to be messy. I didn't know why I wanted it to be messy. I knew that hair and makeup and being focused on being dressed appropriately took away from my creative message because I would focus too much on that. But I also knew there was another reason this needed to be messy. And I think this is it. Hold on, let me take a sip of my coffee. It's early here, so I'm not really with it. I have this wonderful cappuccino maker right down the hall, which is saving my life right now. And this is why it needed to be messy, why it needed to be no hair and makeup. And here it is. So later today I will be on stage with lots of lights and a microphone and makeup and hair and on a stage and podium. And it will be all fancy. But this is what it looks like before all that happens. The exhaustion, the sleeping in a weird bed, being on a different time zone. It's messy. And the other reason this needs to be messy and why there was a calling, I hate to say that word because it brings up so many different reasons for different people, but there was almost this calling for me to make this messy is that through this podcast process, and it's only been a couple of weeks, few weeks now, so many people have reached out to me, either text messages, LinkedIn messages, let's have a chat. So many people that I have worked with in the past or were friends, even friends that I haven't spoken to in years, who have come out of the woodwork because of this podcast. And a lot of the people that have come out of the woodwork because of this podcast are saying things like, "Oh, I wanna do what you do. Oh, I wanna be like you. Oh, you inspire me." And that's why I had to make a messy podcast right there, because I spent a big part of my life looking at people on stages or in podcasts or in whatever definition of success I had at the time. And we're like, I want that, but not understanding what goes into wanting it and what goes into getting it and the sacrifices that you make to get there and the vulnerability it takes to get there. That's why this podcast had to be messy for all the people out there who want something but don't know where to start, don't think they're good enough, don't think their hair looks good enough. I'm laughing because there's so many makeup tutorials, right? So people just do podcasts on doing your makeup. So people don't worry about your makeup, don't worry about your hair. Like these are the things that don't matter. And we so often see the polished version, right? The filtered version of life now. That's almost all that we see on social media is this in any media is this filtered life. And that's not a vulnerable life. That's not really a life, to be honest with you. So that's why this podcast needed to be messy. That's why there was a reason for this to be messy, and this is it. Because later today, as I said, I'll be on a stage with makeup and a suit and silk and pearls and high heels, and I will look like a different person. That's a different Kim. That's a working Kim. I love what I do. I love keynote speaking. I love inspiring people. I love sharing all of my fuck ups so that other people can be successful. I love that. I love podcasting because I don't have to deal with people and I can sit in my quiet little space. I do like people, but I'm an introvert and I need to be alone in order to regenerate and re-energize. So vulnerability, being messy, not having it together. I'm going to tell you a couple little secrets about me, about vulnerability. One, when I started this podcast, I said it would be 15 minutes, 20 minutes. I actually get anxiety about that when I do my podcast because I get worried if they're not going to be 15 minutes. I, I feel like I didn't do a good job. And so my worst podcasts, by the way, are when I'm watching the clock. And I can tell when I start watching the clock because my podcast goes to shit because all of a sudden I'm watching the clock and I have anxiety about it should be 15 minutes. Like who said it should be 15 minutes? Why does this have to be 15 minutes? I said it needed to be 15 minutes. I also said that this was going to be real and messy and vulnerable. So maybe it's not fucking 15 minutes. There's a little secret. I got anxiety about if my podcast is long enough. If it will be long enough for you, will you stop listening to me if my podcast is 12 minutes instead of 15 minutes? I don't know. But I think about this shit and it bothers me. And now I got something else to get worked up over. So I worry if my podcasts are going to be long. I'm at 8 minutes right now and I'm stressing. I'm going to be honest with you. So there's a little vulnerability for you. I have anxiety and stress about being messy, not being perfect. Another one I'll tell you because I'm in Austria and this is like top of mind and I do it at almost every trip I go on. I get a little bit of travel anxiety. I always get it right before, like 18, 12 hours before I gotta go. I always think it's like the wrong day and I've missed my flight. And I always get this like crazy little pre jitters, which are funny when I look back at them. But in the moment, I'm like, oh my God, but a little travel anxiety. So when I travel, I'm all excited to get here and I get here and then I'm here for like 12 hours. And then I'm like, well, maybe I should go home early. Like every time. And no matter where I go, I'm always like, I should go home early. I don't know why. Because well, I do know why. Because I get nervous and I'm like, oh, I won't be able to entertain myself. What will I do with myself when I have all this time on my hands? And that weighs on me. And so I tend to get a little bit of travel anxiety. Fortunately, in Salzburg, there is a ton to do. We did a walk-in tour yesterday that was absolutely gorgeous. So I don't think I'll have any time entertaining myself on my day off here. So, but just sharing with you that I actually go through it almost every trip. I go through a phase where I'm like, I don't know, I should just go home. I don't know what I'm going to do with myself here, which is really weird because I've been in a lot of beautiful places. And looking back on it, I wish I'd taken more opportunities in some of my other business trips to see more stuff. Like when I was in China all the time, and I could have seen more of China besides Beijing and a hotel in Beijing and an office in Beijing and a restaurant in Beijing, which is all I saw on my multiple trips to Beijing because I was there to work. So, so this is just what I wanted to do today. It's not much. Like, again, anxiety about this being 15 minutes. We're at 10 minutes and 32 seconds right now, and it's killing me. But I wanted to be messy. The other thing I wanted to share with you too was that when I came to this event, I bought all my recording equipment, obviously, and I was so jazzed because I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna interview all these people," which I'm still gonna try to do. I remember when I first was asking people, "Hey, can I interview while we're in Austria? That'd be really cool to have." And I am gonna do. I have a beautiful view from my hotel room here, by the way, and I am gonna do some recording out on the patio up here as soon as the weather clears so that you guys can see the beautiful mountains in Salzburg. But anyway, so I was talking to people and saying, "Hey, can you wanna record something while I'm in Salzburg?" And some of the initial feedback I got was like, "Oh, I'm so tired. I'm gonna be so worn out, blah, blah, blah." And I was kinda like, "What? Like, come on, man. We're gonna be there together. Like, we can record it together, record it with the mountains in the background." And the feedback was kinda like, "Okay, well, let's just see what happens." And I was a little bit disappointed in that. But you know what? I get it now. I get it now. I've had a camera in my face for almost 2 days now. A wonderful camera crew. I don't know what their official titles are, social media team, capturing all sorts of wonderful videos and photographs and stuff for social media for this conference, which is amazing, and they're doing an amazing job. But after having a camera in your face all day, the last thing you wanna do is have a camera in your face. So I get it that some of the people here are like, "Oh, I don't know about recording," but I think I'm gonna make it happen. But I also do recognize that after having a camera in your face all day, it's exhausting to have a camera in your face, and I'm gonna go have a camera in my face again all day today. And that's kind of part of the work. There's this thing when you do these keynotes and you do these conferences, like, that's another thing I wanted to share with people too, is that people see the conferences and the keynote speaking up on stage and all the glamour and, oh, the business travel, and it must be so exciting. It's exhausting and it's a lot of work. And that's the other thing I want people to know about keynote speaking and do working these events is that it's a lot of personal energy because you wanna do a good job and you wanna be there for your audience. You wanna make your client happy and have them have a very good event. So, I spend months getting ready for these events, months pulling together my keynote speaking, doing research, making sure that it's on point. I speak a lot about supply chain, which is crazy right now. We just had breaking news this morning, which I'm glad I read the news this morning because I'm going to need to speak about this in my keynote today. So, all those months of preparation, I still need to update my keynote today. So, it takes months to get ready for these things, months and months of presentation, of pulling panels together, of coming up with relevant questions, of preparing material. These conferences and anybody who does this kind of work, it's work. It's why we get paid to do it. And I think it's somewhat sometimes underappreciated because people are like, why should I have to pay you? You're just running your mouth. It's the old saying, right? You're paying for my years and years of experience, not for the 20 minutes I'm going to spend on stage. So, but it's a ton of work. And then when you get here, it's more work because now you got to work the conference. So it's not like, and that's another sort of misnomer. I think people feel like you speak for 20 minutes and you're gone. No, I'm here all day. I'm here. I have people want to talk to you. They want to spend time with you. They want to get your opinion on things. You're trying to develop business. It's also biz dev while you're here. So these things are work. And again, I love the work. I wouldn't change it for anything in the world. But I did want people to see the messy side of this. And for all of you who are out there who have said and who have come to me with all of your kind words and aspirations, go, do it, run, go as fast as you can, take the emergency brake off, follow every whim, you can do it, go for it. But also know that it's work. And for all the people out there, for all the haters, I know who you are. I see you. It's work. And it takes a lot to put it out there. And it's okay to be messy. And it's okay not to be perfect. And it's okay to fuck it up. And it's okay to have some travel anxiety. It's okay not to have your shit together all the time. It's okay to sit in your hotel room, sucking down espressos, trying to get yourself amped up in your PJs, exhausted. It's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to be messy. Not everything is perfect. So that's really all I had for you. Like, this is my vulnerable podcast because this is vulnerable. Like, I'm talking to you about, I don't have my shit together. And everybody thinks I have my shit together. So I'm going to go get my shit together and spend a couple more hours getting ready for this event that I've been preparing for months. And I'm super excited about it. You can see it in my face. I'm sorry. I do love it, but I do have to go hide in my hotel afterwards. And I'm super jazzed about it. I'm going to talk about supply chain today. I'm going to talk about supply chain in turbulent times. It's actually the topic of my keynote. As right now, tariffs are crazy. Nobody knows what the hell is going to happen. It's creating havoc in all markets. I will probably take us decades to recover from all this shit, but it is a hot topic for conversation and a hot topic for keynoting right now. So that's what we're talking about. But if you're out there and you're thinking about trying something, or you're looking at this, or you're seeing this, or you're following me and you're like, wow, that looks cool, I want that, you can have it. You can do it. But just know that you're going to fail and it's okay. And you're going to be exhausted and you're going to have anxiety and you're going to completely stress out about how you're going to entertain yourself for 24 hours in another country. Well, which totally doesn't make sense when you play it back. But it's messy. Life is messy. And this is what it looks like before the lights come on. Thank you for joining me for my extra messy today. And I am going to do some podcasting with the beautiful view of the mountains behind me because it is absolutely freaking gorgeous here. Salzburg is absolutely stunning. If you are looking for a trip to Europe, highly recommend it. It is very touristy. They get all of their industry. A little story about Salzburg, by the way, because I love business and I love economy and I love trade. So, a little story about Salzburg here while we're on the topic is that salt is actually salts is salt. So, salt fortress is what Salzburg means. And Salzburg had a huge salt deposit. And in the medieval times, salt was gold, right? Because that's how they cured everything. All meats and everything were cured with salt. So salt was what they call white gold. So Salzburg was built on salt and had a lot of money during the medieval period. So there's a lot of beautiful medieval buildings here. And it's also the birthplace of Mozart and where Mozart wrote most of his music. So now Salzburg is all of their economy comes from tourism. Interestingly enough, because and Red Bull is based on Salzburg. I also did not know that. So Salzburg and Red Bull go one hand in hand. So it's where a lot of other income and money comes from, but all of the rest of it is in tourism. So it's a big tourist area, which for us Americans makes it easy for us to get around because everybody speaks English and it's very friendly and it's very easy to navigate as far as navigating a foreign country. I've traveled to a lot of countries, mostly doing a lot of business, and sometimes it can be hard. It can be hard to navigate in another country. We don't speak the language. So Salzburg makes it pretty easy for you if you are a tourist. So love Salzburg, really, really digging it here and very much looking forward to my free day. So if you're looking for a place to go in Europe, highly recommend. And that is it for me today. Thanks for tuning in. We will have some more. Hopefully, I'll drag some of my guests up for a recording here in Salzburg and convince a few and have to put a drink in their hand or something. But thank you for tuning in for my talk about vulnerability. We always got it together. So I'm going to start my second cup of cappuccino here because, as you can see, they put them in tiny little cups here. And this is not my size of coffee. So I'm going to go make another coffee and we will talk tomorrow. And thank you for tuning in and visiting me while I'm in Austria. Chat soon.